Hi, hello. So in this video we will see what happens when your wing gets wet and how you actually can crash by getting the wing get wet. So let's see, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah, one other problem that I had whilst looking for somewhere to put the wing down was visibility. So the rain was pretty strong at times, quite heavy, and I couldn't see particularly well with my goggles. I don't think it would have been much better if I'd have had sunglasses on. So at one point I tried to take them off, see what it was like without them, and the rain was actually stinging my eyes, so I had to pop them straight back on and continue looking for somewhere to put the wing down. Yeah, at this point the rain got significantly heavier, so I was quite keen to put the wing down for the next few minutes. I didn't think about it at the time, but potentially a reserve throw could have been an option at this point as well. However, below there were power lines, there were a lot of trees, there were houses and plenty of other hazards, so I still think I made a relatively good decision to aim for a point ahead of me. However, it obviously didn't turn out quite as well as I'd have hoped. Yeah, so my plan was to go in on bar, aim for the top of the mound straight ahead of me, and sort of take the consequences really. However, I couldn't quite clear the trees that were ahead of me and had to turn away, so therefore had to come off bar onto the brakes to turn, which eventually caused the wing to deep stall and drop down into the trees. Yeah, at this point here, I didn't feel in any danger whatsoever. Thought I was going to turn away, get back on bar, and push down towards the valley, and was completely taken by surprise when the wing just dropped out of the sky.
Shit happens. So he was really lucky because he survived with just. Those are not major injuries. There are some minor, they're pretty serious injuries. He had a fracture in his L1, so it's the backbone, and then he had also like a broken pelvis. So okay, so what happens is that this guy actually is flying a cross-country flight. He's British, so it sounds at least that. So I suppose maybe he's not flying so much in the area, and maybe he's just he has a few days to fly or something like this. Well, for this or any other reason, I'm just guessing. He's pushing his flight towards clouds where actually it's already raining from those clouds. You could see this a little bit before. That I skipped some parts of this video. It's almost 1 hour long, but a little bit before you see whether he makes a decision to come to this place, and actually you can see it's already raining in this place. So actually it was like a kind of more or less conscious decision to go into the area where it's raining. He's flying RAV. RAV is the mountain chain actually that's pretty high and it's pretty good, crazy thermals, nice place to fly. The highway in the in this part of the Alps. But also if you have an unstable weather, like looking on what's happening with the clouds, this is gonna be one of the first places when it's gonna start to rain. So one point is that if you see that it's unstable, then maybe like sticking to those most let's say rain-prone areas. It's also something that's not the best idea actually. It was the general picture. But the second is if you see a place where it rains, maybe it's start to reconsider. maybe I'm not say maybe this is the time to reconsider your plan for cross country flight actually, and go some other direction so that you don't go into the rain. from my little cross-country experience, it's turned to be quite helpful at moments like this, just to stop in some place, start to think a little bit, reconsider, do some other plan, watch how it's developing, and not push at any price forward, because this is actually what he was doing and what put him into this situation. Yeah, so he's been flying in this rain for a few minutes, so his wing is wet. He's wet. So it's cold. It's getting probably tired pretty quick by being cold like this with the air streaming, and yeah, so there are also probably some psychological effects that also may take a toll on him. He's saying about sunglasses. I never flew in the rain, but I was flying once in light snow, and actually I fly in sunglasses, and you get this snow into your face around sunglasses. So I believe this mask is better for this, because it wouldn't be pleasant anyway, and if you have glasses then you get the same effect like with this ski goggles. So yeah, I don't believe that there is a method to get a visibility like flying through the rain, so just don't fly into the rain. And yeah, and now you see actually he's flying with the speed bar pushed. We cannot see this clearly actually, but cannot see it clearly, but I would assume that a little, actually, this is the speed pressed, probably this part. So yeah, he's half, maybe half speed, but a little bit on the brakes, so the wing is flying even though it's wet. But this is unfortunately gonna change in a moment. So now,
as well as I aim for the top of the mound straight ahead of me.
yeah, so he wanted to land there, and who knows, maybe it was a lot of lag that actually that he was so low, because let's imagine what just happened to him. Like he would do some adjustments in the last moment, touching the brakes, and he would get this parachutal over this terrain without trees, because those trees, they actually took some of the energy out of this fall, and if he would have crashed another place without the trees, that could have been much worse for him. And he's flying like ultralight harness. This is the advanced weightless from what I see. So there is yeah, very little protection basically in this type of harnesses. So if you fly them, you take, it's kind of like a trade-off between how mobile you are and how light your equipment is and compact by packing. But on the other side, by a fall like this, yeah, you are on a pretty disadvantageous side of things. And I was wondering, because there from this ultralight there is also this X range from Skywalk, X Alps range, and this one actually has this inflatable protector, which is actually more massive, much more massive than this protector in weightless. So I was wondering if that wouldn't be better, but I have no idea. I'm just wondering, yeah.
And sort of take the consequences really. However, I couldn't quite clear the tree.
Oh, and he mentioned just before, he mentioned about throwing a rescue parachute. I mean, I'm not surprised that he didn't think about throwing a parachute in this moment, because he's fully in control of his wing. The problem here is he's unaware how close to the parachutal, which is deep stall, he is. And this is a problem. And I would be, probably if I had been in the same situation, I wouldn't be also so aware of this. This is the value of this video actually, to demonstrate how close you are to this parachutal in this conditions and on this wing. This is a two-liner C. This is a Volt from our design. So basically, it's a sporty cross-country wing. So yeah, so it's easier to stall a wing like this than like a B or A wing. So I imagine that also this deep stall is easier to do in a wing like this than lower class wing. But this is again my assumption. If you have experience or knowledge about this, please comment.
That were ahead of me, and had to turn away. So therefore had to come off bar onto the brakes to turn, which eventually caused the wing to
Although if you look actually at the color of this ending of this advance, I mean, who makes like a white white part exactly where you touch the ground, then I assume that he has something like 200 landings on this. Yeah, if he's watching, maybe he can comment on this. Is this correct? I mean, on this harness.
deep stall and drop down into the trees.
Yeah. So now, because he's preparing to maneuver, from what I understand, he left the risers and speed bar and switched to brakes with the half wrap, as you see, and this is actually gonna be the reason for this fall.
Yeah, at this point here, I didn't feel in any danger.
So now you see this. This is position of his hands, basically. Like, their carabiners are pretty high on this harness. So carabiners are somewhere here, and then his hand is like, it's 1/3, or maybe between the roller, like half of the roller more or less, is where his hand is, where he's braking just a little bit.
Whatsoever. Thought I was going to turn away, get back on bar, and push down towards the valley, and was completely taken by surprise when the wing just.
I'm wrong. The carabiner is. No, it doesn't matter. But anyway, this is his. You can see that his left hand is getting lower in this turn. I mean, he's turning, and on the wing, actually, you don't see it. This you know, like any hard braking or nothing. So actually, it's a bit pronounced for the turn, but nothing excessive, so to say. And now
dropped out of the sky.
Yeah, now is the moment where the wing falls behind, and he starts to fall. So we go back a little bit, just move.
Valley, and was completely taken by surprise.
Now this is the moment. You see this movement? So basically, and he feels it because his hands move, his head is moving up. So basically now he's watching to the turn, and now he's raising his head, and his hand is close to the carabiner, which is like a standard turn. It's at least on my wing. I haven't flown a Volt, so I don't know how it looks like here, but it's not. I mean, it's pronounced, but not excessive braking. And but the wing is wet, and this is enough for what you see now. So actually, now you see this wing going behind him, and so getting actually out of camera. And he's probably, this is why he's looking downwards, because he's already falling. So kudos for him for not panicking and not doing crazy stuff with his hands, but the reaction, I mean, I have no experience with this, because actually I have never really done deep stall, which is parachutal, because I've never learned to do helis. This is actually the moment where you learn to do like deep stalls, but unfortunately I haven't gone so far in my little acro experience. But the theory I know says that whenever you get into the parachutal, you release the brakes, you push the speed bar, and also I've heard, if necessary, you push on the A raisers, so that you even add more like the speed than just from the speed bar. Not sure if this is correct, but this is at least what's in my head. I'm not an instructor, so I take no responsibility for this. And yeah, and actually, and this is the way you would handle it if you would have the height probably to do this. But since it's happening so low, Yeah, this is the big problem here, because he was not aware of the risk, and I wouldn't be neither before watching this video. So actually he's too low for the reserve, although you always throw the reserve. If you are so low and you lose control, something happens you don't understand, you just throw the reserve, and he doesn't, even though, I mean, it's very low, so the chances are it wouldn't open, but why not? Uh, it won't, it won't make things worse in this situation, and at least it may catch a tree, so it will kind of like break the fall a little bit. So this is one element. Yeah, the problem is that he's so close to the ground in the situation. But I mean, the big surprise is that you can so easily get into the parachutal on the wing, or the wet wing. Yeah, so this is the problem here. And then so low, no chance for the rescue. And doing those stuff, with pushing accelerator and leaving brakes and trying to make the wing fly again. I'm not sure how much height you need to make it happen. If I would be high, then why not? You may try this. So leaving brakes, pushing speed bar, and pushing those eye razors so that you shorten them. This is what I heard. And yeah, and then see if it reflies, and if it doesn't, then you go for the rescue, I imagine. And yeah, but if you're so low, there's little you can do actually. Besides, maybe you're just preparing for this fall already, so getting out of the harness and taking the parachute landing fall position. This is always something that if you feel that you're gonna crash somewhere, it's always good to do this. Although, I mean, this is a huge surprise for him. So yeah, I can clearly understand that it wasn't in his head. Yeah. So, and then yeah, and that would be it. So making you aware of this. So summing up, if you and by the way, what is this actually? This parachutal or deep stall? So if you fly like you fly and you brake hard enough, so really hard, then you stall the wing, and this is the full stall, so to say. So basically what happens, the thing first stops to fly, and then since you brake it so hard that actually the leading edge, the trailing edge, gets below the leading edge, kind of like, and you reverse the flow over your paraglider, and you get into the flyback basically. So this is the full stall. And the deep stall, or a parachutal, is something else. Is basically where you, so in the full stall you fly in the other direction, like backwards, so to say, and in the parachutal you just fall directly under, downwards, so to say. So you have high sink rates. I'm not sure about the exact meters per second, but it has to be high because your wing is actually doing a parachute now, but it's not made for that. So yeah, so it's not really working as a parachute. And yeah, and at the end of the day, so you have no forward speed, no backward speed. You're just standing there, sitting there, and falling. And typically, like on the normal wings, it's difficult to do because those wings we fly, they are designed. I mean, the normal wings that we fly. I'm not saying about acro wings or even CCC. I don't have experience, but even like a D wings, basically, like if you stall them, they want to fly less than B's and C's, but still they want to fly. So it's difficult to keep them in this point where the wing is not flying forward and the wing is not falling behind for the full stall. And this is actually the mastery of helicopters, the entry to the helicopters, that you have to master this deep stall so that you are able to do those fine movements to keep your wing, not shooting forward, not falling behind, and then you release one side and you go in the helicopters. It's, I mean, for me, very complicated thing to do. But if you have like an acro wing, I have no experience with acro wings, but if you have, then apparently it's easier to do. And if you have a not wet wing like this, then it's extremely easy. You just touch your brakes and you're in parachutal. Maybe this is how I should train the helicopters. Just get wet wing and yeah. But the jokes aside, The biggest danger I see in this situation is that you have this wing, and then let's assume he would be higher, those 30 meters, and he would go for landing and maybe do some, to get aligned, he would do like an approach a little bit and brake just to align himself with this landing spot. And then he would get the parachutal and he would fall like on this field where there are no trees to break the fall, or where there's there were also asphalt roads and stuff like this, really hard. So, and here he fell on the slope, he explains later on, so this is also beneficial for the fall. And then the other part was more flatter, so basically the damage could have been much greater actually. Would he be a little bit higher, and would this happen actually in the final approach? And this is actually the main conclusion for me in this video. So first, really do not fly wet, because respect this, that is dangerous. Actually, I took off a few times with the wing wet, where we were training, and it was raining a little bit, and then it stopped and the wing was wet. I took off. I didn't know actually. I haven't noticed. I did even some SIV acro stuff with wet wings, but I didn't really notice a difference. But I'm not sure, maybe that was like a B wing or something like this. But anyway, so avoid the rain at any at any price, so to say, and then once you have a wet wing, yeah, I mean, after having seen this, I wouldn't use brakes for landing. I mean, it may sound crazy, but imagine this happens to you like when you are 10 meters above the ground and you just fall on it. This is just crazy, dangerous. So basically, yeah, this is what my conclusion from this video is basically I would for sure, if I would have wet wing and I would go for land or maneuver. I mean, he could have done this maneuver, this turn much bigger, using his risers and speed, if he had known that this is so dangerous, he's so close to the parachutal fall. So, but he didn't. Neither I would know this, but now we all know this, and hopefully this will save our skin in case by accident we get into rain and get wet. Yeah, then just don't touch brakes, because you see, just a little, I mean, this is not little, but it's just a normal turn. Just normal turn, and this is enough to put you in the fall. And had he just continued flying on B risers and speed and do like a gentle big turn, and then if he would be aware, have been aware, and then by the landing also probably do it like this without touching brakes, just kind of like crash land, maybe just do a flare at the very last moment, but all the turns with a little bit speed. This is also what they say actually, that if you want to avoid the chance of the risk or decrease the risk of getting in the parachutal with the wet wing, you fly with a little bit of speed bar pressed. Yeah, so if you would approach the landing like this and then just do like a flare last moment, I'm not sure if you do. Maybe you have experience. Maybe you can, add something to this. But then maybe he would be still able to land safely. But yeah, but I'm not surprised that he was not going for as he mentioned, for the rescue parachute show, because if you're not aware of the risk of parachutal fall, then why would you do this if you can land other place? And actually, it wasn't turbulent. The rain was not so strong that that you get some turbulence or stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. I hope we learned something very important with this video. At least I did. And yeah, let me know in the comments, like if you liked, don't like if you didn't, and if you didn't like, then please write in the comment what can be improved, and don't forget to hit this bell notification icon, because apparently many people subscribe and don't watch those videos later on. And see you watching another video together and learning some important stuff. Bye.